After crossing the Francis Scott Key Bridge, the player can find the entrance to the County Mainline sewer. By going inside, we're instantly greeted by a feral ghoul. There's a door to the left, and a set of stairs leading to a higher floor. After a few moments of silence, we hear another ghoul. This time, it's a glowing one. For some reason, the glowing ghoul didn't head through the door and attack. Instead, it ran up the staircase and appeared through the door we just came through. We now know that we can go back the way we came and retrace the ghoul's steps, looting the first ghoul we shot along the way. As we turn the corner, we see another ghoul has appeared. Together they have some bottle caps and a bottle of dirty water. Heading up the gentle slope and now entering the upper floor of the room we were just in, we can check the lower section, but there's nothing here. Back up the stairs we can find a small storage area, but first let's check the terminal. We can disengage the lock, but I think I'll open the safe the old-fashioned way and receive the extra experience points. Inside we find 7 .32 caliber rounds, a .32 pistol, 1 bottle cap, 2 pre-war money, and some psycho. On the shelving is a hunting rifle, some more ammunition, and a first aid box with 1 Rad-X and 1 stim pack. Heading back into the sewer tunnel, we come across some more enemies. Through the door on the left, we find the body of a mercenary. Whenever I find a dead merc, I always wonder what they were doing. It would be interesting if the mercenaries held some sort of diary or log showing their employer and payment. Let's just say that this man was hired by Moira Brown to study the activity of feral ghouls. Beside the body we can pick up some 10mm ammo, nothing but clothing on the body though. Deeper inside we find a pack of ferals. The lower level has nothing of interest, but on this middle section we find another storage closet. Before we have time to search, a glowing ghoul above starts running for the stairs. With that taken care of, we can collect the ammo and first aid from the storage room and progress to the next floor. Here we find 2 doors and a terminal behind a locked gate. On the desk is a big book of science, let's go ahead and pick that up. The terminal's only use is to open the door nearest to the fencing. There are other things to select on the terminal, the water treatment status and the purge sewage overflow, but these just bring up various error messages. Behind the door we just opened are 3 rad roaches and a skeleton. We find our usual loot, most notably being the radaway on the shelf. Beside the skeleton's hand is a mouth organ. It's such a shame we don't get to use this item or hear it being used by the NPCs. Turning around we head for the only way left. To the left we have 2 ghouls hunched over. On the way to loot the bodies my foot hits a skeleton's arm and beside it is a single stim pack. The first ghoul has 9 bottle caps, and the other ghoul has 1 bobby pin. This next location has no rooms to explore, it's just a simple tunnel, with several ghouls and a wastelander's corpse. Ammo, chems, the usual junk is all we find. At the end of the linear path we come to a crossroad, or a cross sewer to be more specific. The floodlight shines onto another dead mercenary and a lone bobby pin. The steepest tunnel has a tripwire that we can disarm, and several signs warn us to yield, stop, and not to enter. Ignoring those and disarming a bear trap and a pressure plate, we can search the area while keeping a close eye on the red dots on our compass. On the right hand side there is an average lock to pick, and inside is a large selection of items used to craft the makeshift weapons. There's also a stealth boy at the bottom of a box. Opening the door on the other side of the tunnel reveals the living quarters that belong to someone. By sneaking around to the side we can find out who. Using that reveals the character's name as Gallo. I tried taking a sneaky peek inside his pockets, but he must have heard me.
Where?
Taking a closer look at the body, we see that Gallo is a ghoul. The party hat shows that he must have had something to celebrate. Perhaps it was his birthday. I almost feel bad for interrupting. Gallo has 54 bottle caps, a staggering 41 shotgun shells, and a Tales of a Junktown Jerky vendor skill book. Searching the ghoul's home, we can see that he had a small obsession with Nuka-Cola. There's a banner, toy trucks, stools, clock, lamp, and a vending machine, all brandishing the same logo. In the safe is a Nuka-Cola Quantum, something Gallo deemed worthy of being locked away. We can also see 2 small radroaches behind bars. Unlike Jitters and Fluffy, the 2 radroaches inside of the sniper's shack, these are not pets and are most likely a food source that Gallo is keeping fresh. On the counter and stovetop are strange meat, which we know is code for human flesh. There's also a dissected ghoul in the fridge. I guess Gallo doesn't mind his meat a little rotten. Saying goodbye to Gallo and heading out the other door, we see 2 damaged garden gnomes and another bear trap. Heading back to the crossroads and taking a left, we walk for a short distance before finding a ladder leading to the sewer waste station. As soon as the game loads, we face a rad scorpion. I'm sure at a higher level a giant rad scorpion would take its place and pose more of an actual threat. We also find a few rad roaches, one of which appears out of thin air. With all of the enemies dispatched, we can safely search the station in peace. Off to the side are a number of conveyor belts, a bit of a strange location for manufacturing teddy bears if you ask me. Although the conveyor belts could have an alternative purpose, and let's say Gallo could have been the one who collected and positioned the bears, which could explain the handful of peculiar poses. Starting at one end of the belt and following it down, we see 2 bears in a rather intimate position with a bottle of whiskey close by. This is not what bears are made for. Further along, we see one bear living his best life, surrounded by chems, alcohol, and cigarettes. And around the other side, we find who I've deemed Comrade Fluffy, kitted out with a Chinese pistol, frag grenade, and a cigarette. He looks deadly. Let's bring him with us. Through the open door, we enter a large workspace filled with shelving and a long workbench. The only thing worth mentioning here is the skeleton sitting in the fridge with a bottle of Quantum and a hidden stim pack. The waste station has 2 exits, not including the sewer grate we came in through. One simply says the Wasteland, while the other is Grayditch. But when we leave, we're still a little ways off from the ant-infested town. Sure, it's the next available location, but we're definitely not inside of Grayditch. And there we have it, the county line sewers, the cannibal birthday ghoul Gallo, and the mischievous teddy bears of the waste station. Before you go, I would like to remind you of 5 things you could do to support the channel. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and enable notifications. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next adventure.